Manchester United with the latest of wins against Wolves. Marcus Rashford's late deflected effort giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side all 3 points. What an end to the year for them then. Second in the table, just 2 points off Liverpool at the top, Craig. It's a bit different at 33 points.
But what?
33 points. That's what you will get banging on about, wasn't it, all summer? That was the difference between United and Liverpool. 66 points.
I only deal with it at the end of the season. We're not even halfway through yet. Look, they've done well up to now. We were just going to sit and talk about how bad that game was again, along with many, many other games. The difference between these two sides, I thought United didn't play great. Wolves had to make a lot of changes. Their squad's a bit threadbare. The difference was a lucky goal at the end from Marcus Rashford, a deflection, and Wolves missing their best player in Raul Jimenez, because when they got it wide, quite a few occasions in the second half, Wolves, they just didn't put the ball in the box because they had nobody in there, or they had a lack of people in there. We saw João Moutinho getting himself in there at one point on the end of a header that never came close. He's 5'8" or thereabouts. So that's what they missed. For United, it was about persistence, and Rashford got his goal. I don't expect him to be in that place at the end of the season, and don't say first. I don't expect Leicester to be there, who are a point behind them. I don't expect Everton to be there, who are a point behind them. I don't expect Aston Villa, who have got a game in hand and could be a point behind them, to be there, because I think City and Liverpool will kick on in the second half. But they've given themselves an opportunity, but I don't think you can keep going through the season with that amount of luck to win games and be good enough to win this Premier League.
Robbo, how much credit does Solskjaer get for what United have done over the last couple of months?
Well, I would say today he shouldn't take any credit, because I think he made it hard for Manchester United. As soon as the team was set up and the way Wolves were set up, I'm screaming at the telly, you've got to play Rashford in between the right wing-back and the right centre-half and threaten him behind. Greenwood doing the same down the other side. Get the wing-backs going much, much deeper. Then you can get it wide and get crosses into the box. You had 3 versus 3 in the box. Cavani was good in the box. And then the midfield players could dominate the game. He didn't do that, and it wasn't a surprise when the one time they did score late on was when a ball got played over the top and Rashford played in between the wing-back and the centre-half. He should have been doing that after 5 minutes, and then Manchester United have won the game comfortably. He took too long to get the tactics across.
Shaka, any love for Solskjaer?
Yeah, listen, I don't mind giving Solskjaer love at all. Listen, when United weren't playing well and not looking anything like what we expect Manchester United to look like, I am happy to give him a hard time then, to throw the blame at his doorstep. When you go on the kind of run that United have now gone on, even when you do win ugly, whether they deserve to or not, sometimes you have to take some of that credit. He's had to rotate his squad, as everybody has, given the number of games, and on the day, Greenwood did absolutely nothing before he was taken off. And at times when you play Pogba and Matic in midfield, those two sit very deep and just in front of the back four. Pogba doesn't get forward enough. And sometimes it stutters and it starts. You take that, given the season now that we're having, and everybody's having to contend with, not playing well, having a few passengers, and then all of a sudden grabbing all 3 points at the very end against a very good Wolves team, even despite the changes that they've had to contend with.
It was a very young Wolves team as well. And there had a couple of guys making Premier League debuts, as I mentioned, and they were decent, but they lacked a cutting edge. And that was the difference. They went back to a back 3. They've got away from that quite a lot this season. I think maybe because Doherty has gone to Spurs and Nuno Espirito Santos is trying things. Hasn't really worked for him. Personnel changes, went back to a back 3. There wasn't a great deal between the sides, and Wolves are starting 12th in the Premier League table. That's kind of where we are this season. But you and I were talking about it. I think the bigger picture here is, where's the enjoyment in watching all these games with tired players, with nil-nils, a bulky nil-nils again today. OK, Leeds were the anomaly. Yesterday, a couple of 1-1s. Game's been called off because of COVID. That's only going to increase when you hear the news out of City, you hear the news out of Sheffield United. The players are knackered. All we keep hearing is in the UK is tradition. How about modernisation? And I understand this season's more difficult than any other season. And there's a Euros starting in the 11th of June, I believe it is. And that's problematic for a lot of the leagues. But with all the COVID happening and the way these players are, they're going to have to take a break. And they're going to have to look at it next year and say, let's forget about this tradition, right? How about modernisation? Tradition used to be 4-4-2. 2 big stratum centre-halves that couldn't run but could head the ball. 2 up front. That was tradition, but the game's changed. Players are all quicker, they're all fitter. They're having to be asked to play more games. And I just think it's continuing to be detrimental to the Premier League. Even no fans, and there's no fans at the game, they'll say, oh, we love Boxing Day and all these festive holiday games, and and that's what we do in England. Well, that doesn't make it right. It's an entertainment business as well. And you just look at these games, most of them, not all, Dan, most of them, and this one included, and you go, oh, I've seen a quicker game on the training ground. Yeah. And it's taken away from the product of what the Premier League believes, not my words, but what they believe is the best product in the sport that we watch and cover. They think it's the best product on the planet. That's their opinion. And by shoehorning these games in every year, I think it's to the detriment of the product.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.